Hello. Let me just check whether my voice is audible or not. Okay, yeah, it's audible. Let me just check whether. So, hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. In the previous sections, we were working with our user model and login page. It was very basic page where we just learned about how exactly we will be creating a user model. We will be storing our data inside the MongoDB Atlas. Okay. So what happened is in the end of that video, we were getting certain errors there. So what exactly were the errors? Let me just make sure to make you clear. Like here, if you will see before it was written mongoose.model. Okay. In the code which I have uploaded, it was written mongoose.model like this. But this will certainly not be feasible because we have created a DB. DB is what? Our database right there. Okay. So we have to use DB over there to make sure that we will be getting our proper instance of our data. Okay, that was the first thing. And the second thing which we were supposed to do is we were supposed to use this save function. Inside the save function here it was written next here, right? So we will remove that next and we will just add an asynchronous part. So we will add asynchronous and here we will add await. Okay, this will make sure that it will wait until the database is properly stored. Okay, so by doing this, if you will simply do here, if you will just write node run, so it's already running, and I'll go to the postman here. If you will see, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just add an email here. So I'm gonna add Amogh okay, at the gmail.com 12345. Okay, so if I will click register, okay, you can see user has been successfully registered. And if I'll go here and if I'll see, you can see we are getting our data. Request amuksaxena@gmail.com, password 123456. Okay. And you will, if you will go inside the MongoDB Atlas and if you will search find, you can see that here, this is also getting fetched. Okay. So this part is done and our backend is properly working. Let me just do one thing. Let me remove it there. Okay. And okay. If you will use even login function as well, you are getting user successfully logged in. Okay. You can see over there. Okay. So we have completed this part. Everything looks good. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just upload the code over there. Okay. Inside the GitHub, minor updates, and we are going to do commit. Okay. So you can see it has been commit inside the main. Okay, all the changes, and I'll write just push. So our all source code will be updated itself. So if we will go to the GitHub and if we will check it there, it should be properly upgraded. Okay, so I'll go for my profile. Inside my profile, I'll go for repositories, and inside the repositories, we have this backend, right? You can see it clearly says that it has been updated just now. Okay, minor updates, minor updates. Okay, so our code has been also updated, and you can fetch the data from here. It's available on my GitHub. Okay. So we will close this now. And what we are going to do, we are going to be creating our new project today. That is our very own fitness application. Its design is right here. So I have taken this design from online. It was available on the websites. So we are going to create the same design over there. Okay. So let me just wait for it to load properly. So this is the Figma design that we are going to be creating today. Okay. Let me see. Yeah. Inside this, you can see that we have onboarding 1, onboarding 2, onboarding 3. Then you have our very own gender, gender 2, age, weight, and everything. Okay. So this is a very basic fitness application that we are going to create in this couple of videos, like 4 or 5 sessions will be taking. It's about 40 screens, or no, 14, I means 20 something screens are there in it. So we will be creating those part over there. Okay. Maybe it's more than 20, I guess 30 screens. Yeah, so we will be creating that. Okay. Let me do one thing. Let me just close it, close this one as well. And I'll be showing you how exactly the code looks like. Okay. So let me do one thing. Let me just enable and start an emulator over there real quick. Okay. So our emulator has been started properly. And inside the simulator, I will do one thing. I will just run the code and I'll show you like how exactly the code looks. Okay. Let's just take it a minute or so for that. Until it's getting started, what we will do, we will create our very own Flutter file for it. Okay. So what I'll do here is I'll write Flutter create, Flutter create fitness app. Okay. Fitness app live. Okay. So we are going to create another live stream. That's why I've written live. Okay. So we have successfully fetched our fitness app live over there. Let's give it a minute so that it should be loaded properly. Yeah, it's done. So our application has been loaded. Now what we are going to do here is we are going to be starting with this. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me hit run here and let's give it a minute so that it should run. Till then, you can see our very basic file has been created. Open folder and we will be just opening that file which we have just created. Flutter app live. Okay. So what I have done here is I have done nothing. I've just created a new Flutter file in which we have all the required materials which we get by default. And in the emulator, we are trying to run our application so that you can see that how exactly our application will be looking. Okay. Let's give it a minute so that it should get loaded properly. Till then, I'll show you this main.dart file. So inside this Dart file, you have all the basic stuffs that you will be getting by default. Okay, so this is the login page of our application. Okay, login, sign up. Okay, so it's like that. And also we have what? We have our onboarding page as well. So we have our onboarding page. Okay, so inside this onboarding screen also we have. Let me just restart it so that you can see the onboarding screen. Okay, so this is our onboarding screen. You can see meet your coach, start your journey, create a workout plan, stay fit, and actions is a key to all success. And you will click start now. So after that, you will be getting this. Tell us about yourself. I'll give you a better experience, gender, and everything. Okay. And if you will click next, you can see that we have our very basic how old are you and everything stuff present over this. And right after this, you have your height and everything. And after that, you have what is your goal. This will help us to create a personalized plan for you, whether you are whether you want to lose weight, get fit, gain muscles, gain weight, stay healthy. Okay. So all these things are there. And after that, you have what is your regular physical activity level. So this will help us for personal creating a personalized plan. So inside that, you can select either you're a rookie or you're a beginner or you're intermediate, advanced, and expert. Okay. So as soon as you will click after this, you will be redirected to your login page. Or if you are already logged in, if you are already a user, you won't be getting all these pages. Okay. So we are going to create this basic application in this. So let me just close it for now and let me just run this basic app, fitness app live. Okay. The one which we are going to use in this. So I think so there are a lot of applications that I have to remove from my Flutter emulator basically. Okay. This was the weather app which we created months ago. Yeah, it still works. See, without any error, it still works. Okay. So what we will be doing, we will be just waiting for it to run our app. Okay. Let me give it a minute so that it should launch properly. You can see it's launching and yeah, connecting to the server and everything like that. Okay. So now you can see our app is working. Everything looks good. So this is the basic part which is telling you a Flutter demo page and everything. Okay, we don't need all these things over there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just remove all of these things from here, material app. Okay. So what we are going to do, we are going to start a fresh page. So I hope everybody who are watching this is already aware that what is the code and everything. Okay. If you have not learned Flutter or if you are new to the Flutter, you can start with the first video of this series and you will be understanding what exactly things are there in Flutter. So we will be starting with our material page. Okay. In today's session, we are going to create two pages, or I said three pages. Okay. So what are the pages in that? We are going to be creating our onboarding screen. The onboarding screen which you were getting right in this here. The onboarding screen which you were getting here. See these three pages. Okay. Meet your coach, start your journey, create a workout plan and everything. Okay. So we are going to create this part for you. Okay. So these three pages we will be creating today. The link to this Figma design will be in the description so you can get it from there. Okay. So what we are going to do, we are going to use our material page here. So inside this material page, what are the things that we have? We have the color. So firstly, I'll add the color. I want the color to be colors.black. Okay. So we will be starting with the black color here. And right after this black color, what we have the debug, show check banner mode to be false. And after that, what we have titles and everything, whatever you want to add. Okay. So I'm not gonna add any of those for now. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just close this and I'm just gonna enter home. Okay. So inside the home, we are going to use our very own onboarding screen. Okay. So we will write onboarding screen. Okay. So onboarding screen like that. So now we have certainly not created any onboarding screen. So we will be creating here. So before creating that, we should be having the proper structure of our code. So inside this, we'll be creating different things. First is the models. Okay. So we are going to create the models here. This will be the models folder. And right after this models folder, we will be having one more folder that is your routes. Okay. So we will be using routes folder as well. And what you have screens as well. You can add or you can add a container or anything like that. So I'll be adding screens in this. Okay. Screen. So inside that, we will be having all the screens and files and everything. Okay. So inside your screen, we will be creating our folder here, and I'll name this folder as onboarding screen. Okay. So onboarding screen here, dot. So onboarding screen dot like that I have created. Okay. Sorry, I have to rename this folder. I'll just write it like onboarding. Onboarding screen like that. And right after this onboarding screen, I'm gonna create a file. So onboarding screen dot. Okay, so dot like that. Okay, so we are created our onboarding screen here. So we are going to be creating our onboarding screen. Okay, so inside this onboarding screen, what is the first thing that we have to do? We have to firstly import package.material.dart, and after that, we are going to basically import a stateful widget. Okay. And right inside this stateful widget, we are going to be writing this onboard screen. Okay. So this part is done. And now let me just do one thing. Let me just import it right here. Okay. So if I will now relearn this, you can see that you are getting this placeholder. Okay. So technically we don't have to put a placeholder there. We have to put something else. What we need, see inside this screen, if you will look, you can see there is an image. And after that image, you have sort of a container and then you have the text and below you have a page indicator, like which page it is, first, second, third, like that. So what we can use, we will be using stack over here. Okay. So for using stack, I'll just write the code as stack. Okay. Inside this, we will be implementing return a scaffold. We will be returning a scaffold, and inside the scaffold, we will enter the background color. Background color will be colors.black. Okay. And right after this colors.black, we are going to use body. So this body will be having anything. Like you can, just for reference purpose, you can check this onboarding screen. It's there, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to use a stack here. Okay, so I'll enter a stack. Now this stack will be having a children, obviously, because stack can store multiple files in it. So that's why it contains children. Okay, so now we will be storing files inside the children. So what we will be using our very own page view. Okay, so inside this we will use page view. Let me do one thing. Let me enter page view here. Okay, so this we have page view here. The page view allows us to, create containers.red. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me show you. Okay, so here you can see we have a page view. Inside this page view, if you will see, we have added three containers: colors.red, colors.green, and colors.blue. Okay, so if I will scroll it, you can see we are getting colors.red, colors.blue, and colors.green. All these things which we were working on. Okay. Yeah, you can see, let me just restart it. Okay, yeah, colors.red, colors.green, and colors.blue. Okay, so we have created our very own screen indicator over there. Now, inside this, what we need to create a page because the page will be only required here, right? So, what I'll do, I'll create a widget right here. Okay, I'll name it as widget, and the name of that widget will be build page indicator. Okay, so inside this build page indicator, we are going to store all these things. So inside this build page indicator, we will return something. Do one thing. This page indicator will be having some files. So obviously what we will do, we will return a stack here. Okay. Now inside this, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add children because stack contains the children. Okay. And inside this, firstly, I'll write what? I'll write image because we have image here. So image dot asset, and inside this asset we are going to import our very basic image. Now for image, what we have to do, we have to get those images. I'll do what? I'll upload the source code of these images. You can download it from your part. Okay. So what I'll do here is I'll create a folder and I'll name the folder as asset. Okay. Inside this asset, I'm gonna import this screens. Okay, so you can see inside the asset we have onboarding images, background 1, background 2, background 3, like that. Okay, so we have all these images, and now what we are going to do, we are going to do go to the pubspec.yaml. Inside this pubspec.yaml, we need to make sure that these images are there. Okay, our Flutter app can basically read our images. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna just uh, copy this out, and yeah, we will just comment out, and right here instead of this we will be just pasting our file. Okay, so we will write what? Asset flash onboarding images. Okay, so we will just enter this. Now it will do what? It will be checking all those images present inside our onboarding screens. Okay, so now technically our Flutter app can now see our images. Okay, but to make sure that images are read, we have to end it and then we have to again start it. Okay, so we will be doing that once our code is completed. Okay, now what we are going to do inside this asset.images, obviously we need three images, right? As per this design, we need one, two, and three images. So what we will do, we will pass a variable for three different images, and then we can later on change it. So what I'll do, I'll write image asset, okay, like this. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add here as required, okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna write required, not length, required. Inside required, I'm gonna write string image asset, okay. So inside this image asset, we will be getting a basic code. Let me check. Yeah, we are usually creating an error here. I'll just cut that out. And right after this, we are going to started. We will enter this required, not here, inside these brackets actually. Okay. So what we are going to do, we are going to write here as required inside curly brackets. So now this one is fine and let's format it. Now it will return a stack and inside the stack, we'll enter a semicolon here and yeah, now it looks good. Now, talking about all these things, what we need to make sure, we need to make sure that we have height. So height should be, you can enter 300 or anything like that. But what exactly happens is, let's do one thing, let's keep it 300 for now, okay? Now, if you will go here inside it, what I'll do, I'll enter build page indicator. And inside this, instead of image asset, you have to make sure that you give them the proper link to your images. Like in my case, I'm gonna give this link of my asset folder like this. Okay. So asset slash onboarding screen slash img background underscore 2.png. It's already available here. You can check asset slash onboarding images slash this particular image. Okay. So if I'll refresh it, you can see that this part is available over here. Okay. This is there. The image is clearly visible, right? But it's not according to our proper, it's not according to our screen size. So what we have to make sure is we have to make sure that we get proper screen size. So for that, we can write variable size. Okay, so variable size equals to media query dot of context dot size. This will firstly fetch the screen resolution of an image, and after fetching that screen resolution, we will be entering the size of it. Okay, so now if you will see, now it's taking all the part of the image. But I want it should take little less. So I want that it should only take 0.6, I mean 60% of the screen. Okay. So that's why I've written like this. Now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give it the width as double dot infinity or the screen width, whatever. Yeah. Now you can see that it has properly aligned above. And inside this, we are going to add box fit dot cover. Okay. So now it has covered all the screens and this part is properly done. Okay. Similarly, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just make sure that all these images are present. So I'll just do one thing, copy, and we are going to do it three more times. Three, one, two, and three. Okay. So we have written different images. I have to make sure that there are different images of these. So now if I will reload it, one, two, and three. Okay. So we have added this image part now, but what we have to make sure, we have to make sure this text and this indicator is also there or not. Okay. So what we are going to do to create that text, we obviously need to make sure that this text part is there right behind this image. Okay. So I'm going to add position here. Okay. So I'm going to add position, and right after this position, firstly, we will be entering a container, and right inside this container, we will be giving it certain height. So height will be about 0. Okay, this height is fine. Okay, I wanted to take height of 0.4 and the width should take all, width should take all the width. Now what I have to make sure, I have to give it child. Inside the container, I'll give child and it will be center. Center will make sure that the text will be in the center. Okay. So now what we need to enter the text. Obviously there are variable text, right? So what I'll do, I'll give them a variable as text. Okay. Text like this. I have given a proper variable. Now, if I'm giving text as a variable, I have to also assign the text here as well. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll just enter this text right in it. Text. Okay, now what we have done, we have successfully added the text. Okay, formatted. Yeah. Now you can see that this text has been added. And what I have to do, I have to give them the text as well. Okay. So what we will do, we will go here and inside this, we have to make sure to assign a text. Let's give it page one for now. Page 2, and similarly page 3, just for reference to see whether the code is working fine or not. Okay. Currently it's working fine, but you can see there is no text visible for you. Okay. Why? Because we have not mentioned that where exactly this position should be starting. So what I'll do here is I'll give them some positioning. Like for example, you position it around somewhere in the bottom. So where exactly it should be there in the bottom? It should be 0 from the bottom. Now if you will run, you can see very little it's there. Okay. Let me give some styling so that you can properly see it. So what I'll do here is I'll enter some styling into it. So I'll enter style, text color dot white, and anything like that. Yeah. Now you can see page 2, page 3, page 1, page 2, page 3. Okay. So the text has been properly visible now. And also what I'll make sure that it's there. So now let's do one thing. Let's change the text from the original file. What is this text? Meet your coach throughout your journey. Okay. So we will just copy it from here, copy, and we are going to paste it inside this text. Okay. Let's keep it like this. Okay. So yeah, it says meet your coach, start your journey, but it does not look that good. So what we are going to enter it, we are going to enter a line over there. Okay. So I'll enter text align dot center, text align dot center. Okay. So as soon as I will enter text align dot center, you can see now it is aligned in the center. But does it looks like an image? No, not that good. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make sure that it's properly exactly like that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna enter backslash n so that it should be starting from the next line. Okay, and also inside this text, I'm gonna also make sure that it's to uppercase. Okay, so yeah, now you can see that it is properly uppercased, and you will see that now it looks good, page 2 and everything. So similarly, I'll do what? I'll just copy paste for everything, page 2, and similarly for page 3 as well. Okay. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's rerun it. And now you can see that, yeah, meet your coach, start your journey, create a workout plan to stay fit, and action is the key to all success. Okay. Now you can see that we have created all 3 pages, but still that indicator is left and you should be having this skip button here. Okay. Just so that if you want to skip or if you want to make sure that it's not proper or it's having some things, we will be able to do it. Hmm. So I hope until now here nobody will be having any errors. Okay. What let's do one thing, let's just keep moving forward. We have to make sure this indicator is present in it. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll make sure that indicator is there. So now to create that indicator animated dot, to be specific, we will be creating it here right after this page view. Okay, so after this page view we will be creating an indicator that is let me do one thing, let me use position for that position. And right after this position, we will be entering smooth page indicator. Okay, so for that smooth page indicator, we have to import a library. Okay, so let's go here and let's enter smooth page indicator Flutter package. Okay, so this is the Flutter package which will make sure this smooth indication we are getting. See, this is warm, expanding dots, scrolling dots, scale, and everything. Okay. So I'll just copy it and we'll go to our pubspec.yaml and here we will paste it right after this or right before this Cupertino icons. Okay. And as soon as I will save it, it will start to run. See, the file is getting run. Let me minimize the screen so that you can properly see everything at once. Okay. Now I'll just write smooth page indicator. Okay. As soon as now you can see that we are getting options of it because it has successfully been uploaded. Now, smooth page indicator takes 3 to 4 things. Okay. What is it? It requires a page controller. Then it requires an int count. Okay, so you obviously need to tell the count as well. So let's do one thing. Let's enter the count. Okay, so the count will be obviously 3. Okay, then after that count, what you have effect. Okay, so you have to make sure what effects you want. So I need that expanding dots effect. So I'll enter const expanding dots. Okay, expanding dots effect, and inside this I'll enter the all the heights and width. So dot height should be 10 and dot width should be somewhere around. Okay, so dot width will be somewhere around 10 as well. Okay, 10 as well here. And what do we need? We need the dot color. So dot color will be colors dot gray. So colors dot gray. Okay, and also you need an active dot color. So active dot color will be colors dot a specific color which is there in the code. But I'll do what I'll just write it directly so that you can see it. Okay. So now we have given all these properties, but still we have not specified the controller. So what I'll do, I'll just write controller equals to, I'll create a controller here. Okay. What this controller will do, this controller will make sure that at which particular page we are currently. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a page controller here. Okay. Page controller, and this page controller will be called as controller here. Okay. So this part is done. What we have here, we have, okay, sorry, I have written it in the wrong screen. It should be present right here. Okay. So now I have created this page controller, and if you will run it now, you can see that we are getting this controller right here. Okay. This controller is present. Okay. So what we have to do, we have to make sure that this controller is visible us to us properly. So what we will do, we will position it somewhere. So to position it, what we are going to do, we are going to enter some bottom and all. Okay, so from bottom, I need that it should be size dot height dot somewhere around. Okay, so to get the proper size, we want to import the size as well. So what it's doing, it's fetching the data, sorry, resolution of your screen, and then based on your resolution, it's gonna align it. So now you can see it's somewhere around bottom here. I need it to be little more down. So 0.03. Okay. Now it is fine. And also we have to make sure to align it from left as well. So from left, let's give it 0.35 or 0.4 to make sure it reaches in the center. Okay. 4, 1 or 4, 2 like that. Yeah. Now it's totally in the center. Okay. But if you will see that it's not moving as soon as you are scrolling, it's not moving itself, right? So what we will do, we have to assign it properly. Okay, we have to create a basic logic. We have to make sure that it's going or not. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to add here inside this page view, there is a thing called controller inside the page view as well. So inside this controller, we are specifying what this controller should be equals to the page controller, okay, which we have created earlier. Okay. Then what we will do, we will set this somewhere. So on page changed, what you have to do something, you have to make sure that something happens. So what I'll write set state. Okay. Now inside this set state, what we are going to do, we are going to create a thing called index. So index equals to somewhere around 2. Okay. Now to create this index, we have to make sure that we passes it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to pass this index here. Okay. Let me just cut that from there and we'll paste it here. Okay. This set state will be smaller and I'll format the page now. So semicolon and format. Okay. What I have done here is I have created a thing called page controller. Inside this page controller, whenever you will click on that, the index okay, of this will be updated. Okay, now you can see that we are getting indexed properly. So see, is actions is the key to success. Create a workout plan to stay fit and meet your coach to start your daily journey. Okay, now you can see that whenever we are trying to scroll it, it's working perfectly fine. So our first screen has been created. See, create a workout plan, actions is the keys to success and everything. Okay. So now that this part works perfectly, what we need to make sure, we need to make sure that we get this last button over there. Okay. Because obviously this button is also important. And this button is present right here. Okay, let me close this. Yeah, this button. We also have to make sure this button is present. So what we will be doing, we will be adding a button into it. So let's go here and right after this, we are going to create a button. So before creating a button, we have to make sure that we call an variable or a boolean to be specific, that is last page. Okay. Okay. What we have done, we have created a boolean that will be is last page. That means whether the page is last or not, we are going to ask it. The default value will be false. Okay. But what we have to make sure, we have to make sure that we update this value every single time we are using it. So obviously we'll add it as is last page equals to index. Okay. So what this will make sure, this will make sure that it will get the value as soon as it will be the last page. Okay. Now what we are going to use, we are going to use a condition that whether it's a last page, yes or no. Okay. So if it is not the last page, okay, what we are going to write, we are going to write const. We are going to write const sized box dot shrink. Okay, like that. Okay, so we are going to specify that size box dot shrink. Otherwise, what it do, if you have the last page, then you have to create a button. So I'll be creating a button here. So inside this, we will enter a text button. Okay, so this text button will be having some properties in it. So let's give it a thing called let me do one thing. Let me give it some children here. Okay. Inside this child, we are going to write const. What I'm going to enter skip. Okay. Let's give it a skip, and on pressed will be nothing. Let's make sure that it's visible there or not. Okay, so currently it's not visible. What we have created a skip button for now. What this skip button will do, it will be just redirecting us to the last page. Okay, so that's why we have created this skip button, because whoever does not want to can directly just click on that skip button and it will be directly redirected there. Okay, so what I'll change this part and I'll write that as soon as you are pressing it, what you do, controller dot animate to page. Okay, so animate to particular page. So page 2 here. Okay, and the duration will be around 400 milliseconds. So I'll enter const duration. Take the duration of about 300 milliseconds or something like that. Okay, so milliseconds. Let's give it 300. Okay, and the curve will be curves.ease. What this curve.ease will do, let me just show you. Okay, curves.ease in or so, yeah, now it is fine, and we'll add a semicolon as well. Now it looks good, and as soon as I will reload it, you can see that there is a skip button. Okay, this this is the skip button here present. Okay, but you cannot access it because we have not assigned the position to it. What I'll enter, I have to make sure the to give it a position. So what exactly it should be there? It should be there from the top at height of 0.05. Okay. And it should be to the right at same place 0.05. Okay. So now you can see that you are into that. Skip button is there. And as soon as you will click it, you will be redirected to the last page. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll make sure everything is good, text button and everything. Okay. So our skip button has also been created. The last thing which is left here is to create our very own sign in button, or the button which was there in it. Yeah, start now button. So to create a start now button, we will be using the same approach. Okay. But this time what we wrote that if it is the last page, you shrink it. Okay. And if it's not the last page, you add a position. Same thing we are going to do this time, but we will be writing opposite. So if it is the last page, then you do one thing, you add a get started button. Okay. And if it's not the last page, you just make sure that it gets shrinked. Okay. So I'll enter position. And right after this position, firstly, let me give it to position to be bottom somewhere around 0.09. Okay. And then I'll do what? I'll give it a child. What this child will be having? This child will be having a container, because the container will help us to get the proper sizing, margins and everything. I'll enter some container, then the width will be size.width. Okay. Just to show you. Then what we have uh, child inside this. So what I'll do, I'll enter a text button. Okay. Now inside this text button, we have what? We have our very own onPressed file. So onPressed will be nothing. And we have just created a basic button. Okay. So let's see whether we are having. Okay. So what you have to make sure, that you give it what should be there if it's not there. So if we are not on the last page, you just enter size dot shrink. Okay. So now you can see we are getting this getting started button. Okay. But this getting started button is not looking that good because the container does not have any sort of style. Container is just blank over there. So what I'll do, I'll enter some of the things to the container. What should be there? Firstly, I need to make sure that it's color. So inside this decoration will enter box decoration. Okay. Let's remove this and I'll enter the box decoration. Now inside this box decoration, what we are going to do, we are going to enter some of the decorations like color, the first color which I have already specified, and the border radius. Okay. So now you can see that it's taking all the width, and I don't want that it should take all the width, so I'll enter 0.5. Okay. Width into 0.5. Let's reload it, and yeah, it is visible right there. Okay. Now the text color should also be changed. So the text color should be black instead of white. So I'll just refresh and now you can see that get started button. But what we have to make sure is we have to make sure that we get proper alignment as well. Okay, so inside this container, what we are going to do, not inside this container, inside this positioning, we are going to give it proper positioning. So from the left, we will give it width 0.25 and from the right also 0.25. This will force it to be in the center. Okay. So now the button is in the center, and as soon as we are scrolling, it's not there. Okay. Let me open it again. This part is done. Now what we have to do, we have to just make sure that things looks fine. Okay. Yeah. This part and everything is done. And what we have to do, we have to make sure that we have all the proper margins and alignment here. Okay. So inside this, what we'll do, we will give some proper alignments here. So what I'll do, I'll enter some padding. Okay, so inside this container, we'll enter padding and the padding should be symmetric. So inside this, I need that padding should be 5 from the vertical and around 20 from the horizontal. Okay. So now, yeah, it looks a little big and clear. And after this, what else is left? You can add an arrow as well. So to add an arrow, you will be just wrapping it with a row, very basics row. And as you know, that row can take multiple childrens. So we will be adding an arrow button as well. Okay. So you can see that we have added an arrow button. You can use iOS one as well. So I'll enter iOS. And as soon as you will reload, now you can see that you have got this button as well. And we'll add a sized box. Okay. And what exactly will be the width of this size box? Around 5. That's it. Very small size. Okay. So yeah, you can see that we are getting started, fit, and everything is properly present in this, right? Now what we have to make sure, we have to make sure that things are fine, everything is aligned properly. And inside this text, things look good, height should be proper. Okay. So now, as of now, our everything is working fine. We just have to make sure to give it proper alignment. So this text should be little above and rest of the things should be as well. Okay. Yeah, this looks good. So I hope whatever we have done, we have created 3 pages as well. Now what I'll do, I'll just upload the code to the GitHub so that you can download it and you can continue with me from the next lectures. You will be getting yourself the proper code which I have created just now. I'll be adding the key points as well. Okay. So I'll create new and inside this I'll write fitness app live. Okay. So I'll enter the fitness app live and just create a repository, very basic repository here. Okay. Let me just minimize it and I'll just copy the repository and we'll go here and enter. Inside the terminal, I'll just go here and enter git init, git add stop. Okay. Yeah. And what we have the commit and everything. Okay. So you can enter all those things. Git commit. Inside the commit, I'll enter the days as well. Okay. So commit underscore m and I'll enter what? Day one setup. I'll enter day one setup here and right after that we'll enter git branch. Okay, so someone is asking hacking clay kahan se start करें? Okay, just give me a minute and I'll tell you. Okay, so git hacking clay. There are multiple sources. क्या करना है, किस type की hacking you are particularly trying to see. For that, firstly, you should understand that as well. Okay, hacking में जैसे अब अपने starting करनी है तो अपन Linux से कर सकते हैं. The first thing which you should do is start learning Linux. Okay. Let's let me give you some references. Just a minute. Okay, so when you want to start, hacking, you have to make sure that what are the things. Firstly, the thing which you should be aware about is, learning some basics, computer basics, जो कि आने चाहिए. Okay. Then what you have protocols, networkings वगैरह, you should consider. Then after that networkings, you have learning languages. Linux से start कर सकते हो. तो ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम्स में लिनक्स आता है सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट. ये हैकिंग के लिए यूज़ किया जाता है, ओपन सोर्स है और बहुत सारे इसके सोर्सेज वगैरह वेबसाइट्स वगैरह है जहाँ से लर्न कर सकते हो. ठीक है. आफ्टर दैट व्हाट यू हैव टू मेक श्योर to learn little bit about cyber security basics right? Security concepts, firewalls, IDS and everything. Then थोड़ी बहुत वेब टेक्नोलॉजीज आनी चाहिए जो कि HTML, CSS, JavaScript, वेब सर्विस सिक्योरिटी एंड एवरीथिंग. ओके, ये सब कर लोगे तो बेसिक्स तो क्लियर हो जाएगा. आफ्टर दैट यू कैन, इफ यू वांट टू pursue is as a job, or if you want to pursue it as a career, you can opt for various certifications जो कि अलग अलग जगह होते हैं, सिस्को वगैरह में है. So you can go for Cisco for cyber as well. Okay. And Cisco also hires a lot of people if you are in cyber, so you can opt for that. And yeah, then you can become a proper cybersecurity specialist or an ethical hacker and everything. Okay, there are various roadmaps as well. If you can search it, you can just go and search for roadmaps and you'll be getting all your particular requirements. Okay, so this part is done. Now the only thing which is left is to add our files into GitHub. So I'll just enter it. Origin me. Inside this, I'll just push it. So git push. Okay, and after pushing it, dash u and origin. Okay, so our GitHub code has been uploaded, and I hope everything, whatever we have learned so far, was clear to you. So this was pretty much it for this session. I will see you in the next one.